Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4KB Shorts Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program with Kerbal Space Adventures. Now, I know I mentioned last time that the reason why we weren't continuing our investigations into the deep space was because I was missing a mod. And then I installed that mod. And then I uninstalled that mod. And the reason why was because the mod that I wanted to use, I used it. I actually started a video with it. Started a video with it and realized it really wasn't that important. It's kind of cute, kind of fun, kind of whatever, but it was a waste of time. Waste of time. So, not going to use it. Oh, you might say, oh, where's that now, KB? Why? Well, because I'm in charge. That's why. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with a probe. Now, normally, if the vehicle in question was not built yet, I would normally show you guys a complete vehicle, and then we'd get it into orbit and do our other things. But today, because I'm feeling rather generous, I think we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to take a real-life 60 gajillion? 60 gajillion will work. So it's a little big, but it'll work. So we're going to take a satellite to a very special place. I'm not going to, well, I'll give away part of it. We're going to Jool. And you guys know that when you go to Jool, you don't go to Jool. That's like saying we're going to the sun. You don't go to the sun. You go to one of the planets orbiting the sun. So of course we're not going to Jool specifically. We're going to Jool. But we're going to be going around Jool. Ah, but there be the secret, you see. I'm not going to tell you where we're going around Jool. Ha 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 ha. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few things here, like a Gigantor battery. I'm not entirely sure we need a Gigantor battery, but what I like about this battery is it's a battery, right? It's a battery, and it carries a ton of charge. Look at that, 6,400 electrical charge. Huge amount of charge. Plus, it doubles as a body, like, you know, a ship body, a piece of the ship. And so what you can do is you can do things like this. You can, bam, look at that. I have a battery and a body and all sorts of other wonderful things. Can't go wrong with things like that, right? Right. Now, we need something... Yes, the combined mapping unit. So, as you guys probably know, the only reason I put mapping units on anything is because we're going to map stuff. And as it is with every version of Kerbal Space Program, we have lost the map that we use around Jool and its various cousins and teeny tiny bodies. And so for that reason, we are going to be putting some mappers on here. Now, we do need the ship to be even because we have the satellite dish above, so we have to have the extra weight. Now, these things are heavy, but with two, we'll map a little bit faster. I think that's the way it works. I can't guarantee. I can't guarantee. I know with the Keythane, the more you have, the faster it maps. Two of these, maybe they mess each other up, maybe not, but we need the bilateral symmetry, so that's okay. I would try to build it some really weird way, but there's really no point. Really no point. We just have to build it enough, or build it well enough to where we can get it to where we need it to be. So if we go ahead and build this, now that's a 579 meters per second at 1.93, not very good. And this one is 591 at 0.97, not much better. So it looks like this is our best bet. Now, the downside of this, if we were to take one of these off, look at that, 81 goes to 860. That's not as bad. It goes to 860. If we put one back, we got 692. Well, that little guy's not going to be our main thing. That's, as usual, that's going to be our secondary what's-it. And this is going to go down anyway. This is absolutely going to go down. The reason for that is because we need to add a few more important things. And the reason why is because if you take a look, I believe... this dish? No. This dish. Yes. 0.93 charge per second. 0.93 charge per second. So, you know, round up to 1 charge per second. That is huge. We need to be able to compensate for that. And we don't want to use a nuclear reactor. Now, that's a reactor reprocessor, which I understand I may have used on our previous vessel. Whoopsie. If that's the case, well, whatever. We've had worse days. Yeah, I think I did use that on our last vessel. You know, the first time we rebuilt a vessel, who knows? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. That really wasn't working for me anyway because I thought the vessel would do one thing, it didn't, it did something else. So we may just go with conventional rockets. For now, we're going to go with conventional rockets. But before we go with conventional rockets, we have to go with, you know, lights and solar panels and things like that, and RTGs. Now we can put a whole big thing on here if we wanted to, but we're not going to. I was going to search for, oh, that's right, I was going to search over here for too big. Do we have a smaller one? We don't. Maybe we do. We do not. Okay, so they didn't have one of those in there. That's fine. Do we have that other thing that I like to see? Ah, we do. So we have one of these. If you guys check these out, these are really awesome. I think they're really awesome. They are S6. Kind of hard to say, not really hard to say, but kind of hard to say. They're S6 service modules, which can be opened by a Kerbal, and you can do fun things like this. Oh, I know, right? You can do really awesome stuff, like put 5 of these in here and have enough power to generate, or 6 of these in here and like have tons of power. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Bam. Now, thrust to rate ratio has gotten down horribly, but we have 6 RTGs in there and you can't even tell. So wonderful. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. It's fun. You can put all sorts of stuff in there. You can put MechJub in there. You can put Kerbal Engineer in there. You can put all sorts of stuff in there. And they come in 2 flavors, 2 sizes. Got the bigger one and the small one. Totally awesome. Totally awesome. No questions asking. So we're going to use that. Now, this looks like it's done. Ish. And I feel as though we may be missing something. Mapping unit, fine. Antennae, fine. Fuel, fine. Don't need to dock with anything, fine. Ooh, dock. We may have to dock with something. So I think what we're going to have to do is, how big are you? 4.13 tons. That's not too heavy. Okay, if we're very good, if we're very, very, very good, we may be able to get this and a hitchhiker module into space simultaneously. That way we don't have to dock them together. If we're lucky, but I will have to build it. We'll have to build it. And I'm not entirely sure what this little guy looks like. He's very sleevey. We're gonna I think we'll go ahead and say we'll call him the KSA Mr. T. Because he kind of looks like a T, and he does indeed pity the fool. And yes, I'm going to say that like you're supposed to, rather than like Mr. T says. So yeah, we're going to call that the Mr. T because it looks like a T. It's pretty cute. And he does mapping stuff. I'm not sure what kind of mapping stuff Mr. T does, but he looks pretty good. So we have our battery, we have our antennae, we have our brain, we have our mapping units, which of course are the most important parts. We have our RTGs, which give us power, and our little bit of fuel that we can use for micro-orbital maneuvers. Micro-orbital maneuvers. But there's only one place we have to go, so those micro-maneuvers should be more than enough. Now, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure that the relay works regardless. So, we're fine. Just doing some stuff in my head there. So yeah, it looks like we're pretty good to go. And I will stick this I will stick a hitchhiker under this, I believe, and I will try to get into orbit. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to want to see that, at least the initial launch. Considering the last 6 or 7 launches that we tried to do have gone horribly wrong. And so for that reason, I will most likely see you guys out there on the launch pad. So I will see you there. Alright everybody, here we are out on the launch pad. I have cranked the time forward till dawn so that we may launch our spaceship in the light of dawn and all be happier that we exist. So let's go ahead and launch. And... forget the staging. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay, so now the staging is corrected, the throttle is up, and we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and... That will be fine. There's no SAS, but you know what? Don't care. Or should we? Launch. Don't care. I cared a minute ago. Done caring. 1 failed launch is fine. Not gonna go for a second one. Yeah, we're just gonna go. All of the engines on this thing are gimbaled, so as long as the engines are running, we should not have a problem with our ability to turn. I don't know why I have been flaking out so badly on building rockets. I don't know. I really wish I did. But it seems to be a reoccurring theme, where I end up not paying attention to what we're doing. So we're going to launch our ship, we're going to get it up into space, we're going to realize that the SAS unit that's on it is not powerful enough to move it around, and we're going to restart with a corrected ship most likely. But hopefully the latter part of that is not correcting the ship, it's flying off into Julian space. So there goes that. Our first stage, everything seems to be going okay. Until that... You know, let's go on and head back inside. I'll put an SAS unit on this, and then we can go ahead and activate the antenna that's on the ship so that after 3 kilometers off the surface, we don't end up with a dead stick. Yeah, that's done. Yeah, the last 2 launches have not been 100%, have they? They've kind of kind of fallen by the wayside. I don't know if I'm in a hurry or if I'm just forgetting parts because I'm used to using, I think I'm used to using subassemblies, and I'm forgetting to put on parts that I would normally find in a subassembly. And so there is that. And apparently we have unbreakable joints on? Wait, what? No cheat menu on. Why did nothing explode? Why is nothing exploding? Did we find a glitch? Did we find a bug? This should be exploding here. Something. Wait. Unbreakable joints is off. Infinite fuel is off. Infinite RCS is off. No crash damage is off. Can we... I don't know how we did it, but we seem to have stumbled across the ability to make spaceships not explode. That is entertaining to no end, yet somehow absolutely frightening. This spaceship is impervious to damage. Okay, well, Danny, eat your heart out. And with that little fun clip, I guess we'll take the ship back inside. We'll get everything set up the way we were supposed to, and we'll hope for the best. Yeah, that center engine's just overcooking. Yeah, so we'll go back inside. We'll get everything set back up. We'll rebuild the ship. I'll save this as a secondary thing because this is a curiosity that must be explored in the future, I think. Because I'm really honestly having no idea why it does not want to explode. Okay then, so yeah, I'll see you guys back on the launch pad with a corrected ship that hopefully explodes on impact, I guess. So see you there. Alrighty everybody, as we have come to find out, the 1800th time is the charm, or close to it. Now our fuel lines are in place, I put an SAS unit on here so we have control. I turned on the dish. Now if the rocket does not excuse me, if the rocket does not explode, don't know why I did a raspberry there, but if the rockets do not explode, it most likely is because I installed the joint reinforcement mod to keep wobbly rockets from being wobbly. And that particular setup, or this particular setup, may, in fact, cause... I don't know why it doesn't take crash damage, though, because joint reinforcement should be completely separate from crash damage, in my mind. Don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But before we do, let's go ahead and launch. Alright, everything's running perfectly smoothly. Well, hopefully. So we're going to get up to our maximum height of the first stage. Once the first stage is released, we will then continue on our journey, or I will continue on our journey. And of course, if anything goes wrong, if anything goes terribly bad or south, or whichever direction it may wish to decide to go other than up, you guys will be the first to know. Otherwise, we should be fine. Now, while I know that the last few launches have been automated, it is of course because we have to prepare for our trip, and the reason for that is because Kerbals have a finite lifespan in space. And then, although I'd love to send all you guys out there at once to suffocate in the middle of nowhere for no reason, sending up probes and things like that first seems to be the better of the ideas. So there goes our first release, and now we're going to go ahead and get up there into orbit, and I will see you guys there unless something explodes. So I'll see you there. Alright everybody, here we are back in the VAB. Now I know that I said I was going to see you guys around Jool. I did. And I want to give you guys a little bit of heads up. Our ship won't make it to Jool. Well, it will make it to Jool. The problem is the connection between Jool and Kerbin is just, because of the way the orbits are currently aligned, just on the edge of not being enough. And for that reason, we're not able to get to Jool. Now, I thought of a way to fix that. Now, I will tell you that I have reloaded, but since no Kerbals were involved, I figured that a reload is better than a relaunch. But, right now, up in orbit, the... Mr. T, I'm going to call him T-Man, but Mr. T, the satellite, is currently in orbit on its way to Jool. It's leaving right now, and it's going to get there. And it's going to get there in about, I don't know, a year or so. It's going to take a while. So since it's going to take a while, we're going to send up a ship right behind it. And the ship we're going to send up right behind it is going to be used for a very special purpose. Now, in order to do that, we have to... Here it is. We have to find the corrective thing. Now, as you can see, when I say very special purpose, I mean it. We are going to send a ship capable of, well, basically capable of of keeping up with, or it's going to be a relay is what it's going to be. We're going to send up a relay. Now this relay is just going to be very, 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 very basic. It's going to be a very basic relay. We could send like a reactor up there if we wanted to, but you know what, there's really no point in sending something as big as a nuclear reactor up there. I really want to use these parts. I really, 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 really do, but at the same time they're not as functional as I'd originally hoped, at least not for what we're building right now. So we want to build a relay. Now, to build a relay, all we need is a few bits and bobs here and there. We don't really need a lot. We just need enough to keep the thing running. So let's say, what, 6 of these? I think? Yeah, 6 of these. So 6 of those in a battery. Now the battery will keep it running. Again, how much is this thing going to be? 400 gajillion meters, and it takes 2.8 charges per second. Now these guys make 0.45 per minute, isn't that right? You know what? Let's go all out. Let's do it. Let's go all out. We have not gone all out in a little while. I mean, we did with the microwave transmitter, but I'm still pretty sure I messed that up, and at the same time, it's not that great. It's not that great. So I'm pretty sure I messed that up, and it's not that great, and that's a bad combination, because we're probably not going to use it. Probably not going to use it. So because of that, let's just go ahead and put together a nice, clean ship that we can use for our purposes. This is 350 gajillion. 60 gajillion, and this is 400. 350. 350 is what, that big? Ah, won't let me release. Okay, fine. If we want to be like that, let's be like that. Let's do a solid. Let's do ourselves a real solid. Let's go ahead and use a computer core. I think a computer core is too big. We'll use the larger. There we go. The larger version of that. From that, we're gonna put this. Is that right? Oh, I see what I did wrong. I used the wrong... See, now, I realize now what I did wrong. I used the wrong antennae. Aha! That's right, I used the wrong antennae. I did not realize that I had used the wrong antennae, but I did. And because of that... They're going to deal with that. Because of that, because I used the wrong antennae, we have a little bit of an issue. This is... that might work. We'll keep that on the side for a moment. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to find parts that make this thing work. And so far... yeah, that'll be fine. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a battery. Yeah, a battery. We will add a capacitor bank just because they're pretty. I'm adding pretty things now. Like, who cares? Just add a pretty thing. Alright, on top of that, or underneath that, I suppose we could say, we're going to add a... not that reactor. This reactor should be the right size. There it is. So I have a big reactor there. Now, on top of this reactor, and this is one of the things I really love about this, are these little guys. That's the right one? I think that's the right one. Might be the wrong one. No, that's the big radiator. That's the side radiator. That's the small... Is it this one? Ah, yeah, it's this one. So if we take this, and we do this, these fit right in these pinholes. Look at that. Isn't that nice? That is not a design flaw. That is a realistic... that is a design. That is the way it is designed to work. It is designed to work like that. It is totally awesome, is it not? Now, this thing generates power as it uses nuclear fuel. And, of course, nuclear fuel comes from over here. And that's a really big tank. This nuclear fuel... sure is enriched uranium, should last a little while. I think we'll put that on top, like here, like that. Not bad, not bad. It's a very big satellite. Look how big the satellite is. This is all power. That's all power generation is what that is. These guys can take a hike. Alright, so how much does this weigh? Let's put some stuff on here. Really quick. Just a couple of whatevers. We'll put one right here. 3.8 tons. That's not bad. It's not bad, right? 3.8 tons is not bad. And we'll put the other one here. There we go. And so to get this thing into the air... Now, the problem with the near future propulsion pack versus the interstellar mod, which are two different mods that both use nuclear engines, if we take the nuclear engines provided by the interstellar mod and attempt to use them in conjunction with the near future propulsion pack, they don't work together. So if we take, like... that's too big. Well, it's a good example, but... So we take this guy right here, and we were to say, put some fuel on. What we'd end up with is nothing. As you can see. Now, even if we were to put it directly on the reactor, because it does need to connect directly to the reactor, even if we were to do that, we'd still not see any results. Because this engine's meant to be used with the nuclear reactor that comes from the interstellar mod, not the near future propulsion pack. And I don't have the engines from the near future propulsion pack, so we are going to have to use conventional engines. I know a lot of people are like, well, why do you use conventional engines when you have those awesome engines? Well, because conventional engines work regardless of the mixture and magic. So as you can see, 414 meters per second at 1.05. Look at that. And that's all we really need for that. So there we go. Now, because this thing, I don't think it'll generate waste heat. Nothing on here will generate waste heat, I don't think. So we'll start that deployed. Done. power, 6,000 battery power, 10 enriched uranium, which means the reactor will last for quite some time. Do we need the reactor on? I think the reactor will last for like... Again, that's the problem, is the reactor lasts according to how much uranium it has. And I think the reactor will only work for so long before it dies. Which is unfortunate. Too realistic, I think, is the problem. I think that's really the problem I have. I love the designs, but they're too realistic. They really are, really are. I really should just take my time to convert these to Interstellar mod. The Interstellar Pack mod, like fuel tanks and everything else, and just be done with it. Because I love these designs, but too realistic. Too realistic. So we may have to, again, bye-bye. My apologies, but we'll have to go with the other pack, with the... yeah. So we're gonna have to go with the legit pack, I suppose, which means we need a reactor here. No, not that reactor. 2.5, 6.2, 1.25. There it is. One like that, and with this one we can honestly, actually, let's go ahead and do this. There, here, there, here, there, here, there, here, 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 and if I did it correctly, we should be able to plant this guy right here, and boom, look at that. 1,587, only at 0.27, but we don't need a lot of thrusting power. Now, along with that, we are going to need some heat dissipation. And that comes in the form of panels that seem to... oh, here we go. Huge, small will work. It's small will work, so we'll put 4 of these guys on here. Boom, done. So there it is. Yeah, we'll do this. Again, I really wish we could use the nuclear reactors on the other one, but unfortunately, they only run for so long and then they die out. These ones will run not indefinitely, but they run for a very, very long time. And you can swap fuel, of course. Uranium, thorium, so it uses uranium. I mean, I suppose we could go with the other one. Well, in either case, depending on which reactor I use, we will be going with this design in any case. And we will be sending this up behind the other ship. I don't think that needs to be... I don't think I need to show a launch or anything, so we'll just send it up. We'll send it basically right behind the Mr. T. And it's going to act as a relay. That's all it's going to do, is it's going to act as a relay. It's going to keep in communication with Kerbin, while at the same time relaying the signal to the Mr. T. And hopefully that will keep us in connection for as long as we need. And who knows, this may be the start of a new satellite array system for adventures deeper into space. So I'll see you guys up in orbit when we're either up in orbit around Kerbin or out in space near Jool, because these two ships are both basically going to Jool, except this one will not be going into orbit. Yeah, so I'll see you guys there. Okay, everybody, here we are around Jool. As you can see, we're at 1.55 gajillion meters by 1.53 gajillion meters. And if you look very closely right there above my mouse pointer, you can see a crescent-shaped planet. That is Jool. But because we're within 1.5 gajillion meters, and this antenna has a range of 350 gajillion meters, not only do we have a full communications with Kerbin, we have full coverage of Jool. Now, this is in a polar orbit. We got lucky. It is in a polar orbit, or nearly polar orbit, which is really great, which just means it'll go around in circles at a polar orbit around Jool and its moons, way outside the range of all of them, which means that no matter what we send here from now on, provided we're within range of... well, you know what? We will be within range of Kerbin, because the satellites around Kerbin use the really big dishes that have 400 gajillion meters. So we will have constant communication provided this thing has power. Now, I did make a mistake. And I didn't bother to correct it. And what it is these solar panels are here, which is great, but they generate waste heat. As you can see, they generate waste heat. And I didn't put any waste dispensers on here, not a single one. So they cannot dispense waste heat while they're open. So although they can collect and generate a ton of power, they can't disperse the waste heat and eventually will shut down. Once they shut down and we run out of power, what ends up happening is the entire satellite shuts down and we're borked. Now the other thing is we have this little guy here, who currently has a core life of 979 days. It's about 3 years-ish, give or take. So about 3 years worth of life, slightly less than 3 years, say 2.5 years, which means it's only going to last long enough for one trip. That means we're going to have to send a new relay out here with a better setup later. But for now, for now, this works. So it's working right now. Some design flaws in it, but that's okay. Now the other ship, our other ship, needs to be brought up, and it will be brought up here in just a few moments. It is, of course, over that way somewhere, I think. But as you can see, the heat panels are working fine. We have two sets of radioactive goop. What is it? Deuterium, uranium, enriched something. Anyway, we have fuel. Two drums of nuclear fuel. So we're ready to rock and roll. Now from here, we're going to switch over to the other vessel. We're going to get that one into orbit, and then we're going to get into orbit around our target. Our target, yes. Hopefully. But we will stay connected no matter what, so that won't be a problem. So I will see you guys when we're either in orbit around Jool with the other ship, or very much closer to our target. We'll see how that works out. So I'll see you guys there. Alright everybody, finally after all this time we have arrived at our destination. We're not in the SOI of Val just yet, but we're fairly close, and there's Lathe way over there. So as you can probably see, we're going to Val. Yes, we're going to Val, and we need to map Val. That was the whole point of coming out here, is to map Val. Now, for whatever reason, we get a little bit of a blip going on here when it comes to our intercept node, so we have to be very cautious about whether or not we're going to intercept. I do not know why it's being so strange, but it is. Now, normally I wouldn't be on the map screen, as you guys know, but I figured you guys get to see this, because I wanted to see, I wanted you guys to see us entering the SOI, or at least, being around Val. Now, we do want to get into a polar orbit. Very important to be in a polar orbit for this, so let's go ahead and see if we can do that. I'm sure we can with very little difficulty. We just have to get our maneuver nodes set up, like so. Yeah, this one's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of fuel, but the ship's not going anywhere after this, so using up a lot of fuel for this is not a bad idea. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and slow it down a little bit. There we are. So once you get this done, it takes a little bit of effort to make everything work. But once you're done, oh, I think that was it. I think that was our. Nope. Yep, it's right there, right around in there somewhere. There it is. So that's about circularized, a little bit not. Yeah, that's circularized. So that's pretty close. That's about, what's the height? 140,000 meters. That should be good enough. Not entirely sure. I'll have to do the mapping off screen. But yes, we're going to go ahead and do the mapping off screen. I'm going to do the burn, do the mapping off screen so you guys can see the map and everything else. And we're going to check out Val. And we're going to check it out and see what's up and see what's going on there. So I will see you guys once we're done doing that. Super duper exciting time. Got everything set up, ready to rock and roll. So I will see you guys right after the break. Alright everyone, here we are over Val. The map is partially complete. We have a little bit of an issue with the high definition one. I think it's because instead of, I thought you had to be lower to get the high def to work, but apparently it works better when you're high up. Don't know how that works. But we are coming close to the anomaly that we were looking for. If we take a real close look at our big map here. Here's us. And here's the anomaly. Now the anomaly is currently in, that's the wrong map. The anomaly is currently in a crater. I'm assuming it's this crater right here or similar. And so we probably won't be able to see it. Worst comes to worst, we might be able to see a blip of it or something similar, but we probably won't be able to get eyes on it. But there is an anomaly down there on Val somewhere. And I'm going to be very, very, very excited. We are going to bring some Kerbals out here. Ooh, yeah, I know, right? We're going to bring some Kerbals out here, and that's going to be super exciting and super scary, because not only do we have to bring Kerbals out with food, we also have to bring enough food for them to get here. We have to bring enough fuel and the lander and everything for them to land. Ooh, take off again, and then return back to Kerbin in one piece. Ah, very super exciting, very super scary. But for now, this map will work. It's not perfect, but it'll work. We have enough fuel to get into a higher orbit if we need it, and I may do that just to clean it up. But other than that, that is it. Now, of course, as I said, we can't see the anomaly. I think we've passed it by now. Yeah, we passed it just a little bit. So it's right over in that direction. It's right over there somewhere. In this, probably, like I said, probably in this crater somewhere, or potentially over in that crater. But not able to see from here, unfortunately. I'm sure if we went around Val a few hundred more times, we might be able to spot it, but it's not really that important. So yes, we are going to be bringing Kerbals out here to Val. It's going to be super duper duper hard, super duper duper scary. There's Jool, of course, being Jool. But we are going to give it a shot, because we do need to extend our visions into the outward world. There it is, of Kerbal Space. So once again, I would like you all. I'd like to thank. Can't talk right now. I would like to thank you all very much for joining me for Kilobyte Short on this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program, Kerbal Space Adventures, and I will see you next video.